Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Vibing With Sleezy, the podcast. This is season 3, episode 6. And I am very, very sorry. You probably can tell in my voice and my nasally nose. I've been out probably for quite a while. I mean, almost about over a week. I was super sick. I got IV fluids, been on medicine, was able to return back to work this past few days. But, I want to apologize to everybody for the delay. I try to keep my seasons consistent, pounding out episodes, but had to take a break, had to recover. Still feel like I am almost recovering every day, but I'm back to 100%, and I am ready to continue vibing. But this episode is going to be a fun one. This is one of my reoccurring guests. People call her the horse girl that are avid listeners to the show. She comes live from Hendersonville, Tennessee. It is none other than Christeen Hernandez. Thank you again for joining the show.
What up?
What up? How's life treating you today?
Still waking up, but doing good.
Yeah, we've been trying to schedule this. My voice has been gone for quite some time. She's been very patient, understanding with that. So I can't say thank you enough. We've been probably had about 3 or 4 delays on the show. So overall, it has finally happened. So I'm feeling back. I'm feeling able to record, and so it's a good day here so far. The weekend's been good. I'm kind of been moving a little slow today, but I'm back, and I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to record. So,
right on.
How are your dogs? First off,
they're doing good. Turk's sitting on his new perch right now next to me, and Summer's hiding under the table for whatever reason. I don't know, but they're doing good.
Awesome. Yeah, I went and saw my friend AJ last night. I haven't seen him in a while, and saw his Rottweiler. It was, I got some pics, and it was so hilarious. Like, his Rottweiler gets on top of the couch, and it's named Akira, and it walks. It just starts. There's like 6 people sitting on this like real stretched out couch around the living room. It just starts walking all over everybody's lap and just keeps going back and forth. This dog's bigger than half the people on the couch, so it was hilarious. And he's just a big old baby, so he's real sweet. He has like a little pickle toy and a little raccoon, and the raccoon's tail is like the pull part. So he's like, and so he's still a big baby, and he's really cute. I actually, something I want to share with the podcast listeners, and I know Christine has seen it via Facebook. I had a fiasco happen on Friday at work concerning a dog. So I get a call, and I have a home. So basically with my job that I do outside of the podcast is I'm a project manager for a property management company. I flip homes. I pretty much get like construction done, help tenants out. I'll be like, hey, do this roof. I'll have trash out, get people cleaned out. And I just kind of drive around the hood and manage that. And that's pretty much where my bosses and investors have their properties. So I show
always in the hood.
Always in the fucking hood. I swear my life is always in the hood, professionally. But I don't know why, but I feel like Louisville hood is like where I'm always at. So I'm down on like in Montana off of Taylor Boulevard, which, not the roughest, but it is a rough area. I always feel safe. I joke, you say the hood and stuff like that. I get along with everyone. No one ever messes with me. I also just always watch my back. I'm also just, and also just don't fuck with sketchy people. But I sometimes get in sketchy situations that I, don't ask for because I am in some sketchy areas and I'm not, ready for that to happen. And so basically Friday I get a call, and I had started early. I get my day done. My job's real laid back. I can pretty much just check out whenever I'm done, just as long as work's being done. So it's like 2:30. Get a call from my boss. He's got COVID. He's down for the count. So he's like, hey man, can you do me a favor? Like, can you drive down to this hood off Montana? And he's like, the rumor has it the property manager found a shitload of squatters in there. Well, the thing about this company, I love this job and it's great, tons of positives, but there's a lot of miscommunications, a lot of assumptions. And when you assume, fucked up shit happens. That's what I'm going to. That's the lesson of the episode. When you assume,
but fucked up shit always happens to you.
yes,
it always happens to you.
yes, and I am like, why? I look at the sky and I scream, why? So basically, I'm like, what do you want me to do? And he's like, well, suppose there's squatters in there. Call one of the maintenance men and see if they can meet you over there as backup. He's like, and just go in and look to see. And he's like, if it's squatters, let us know. There is strict squatter rules. You can't just evict a squatter. They are able to stay. So pretty much we haven't got rent from these people. Our property management company is pretty lenient, helps people out. Well, so I show up. It looks shitty. Like the house looks shitty than last time I was there, but I was like, there's people that still live here, clearly. Like there's beds on the floor, there's other stuff, like there's different things. And so my maintenance man, of course it's 2:30. I forget that he has his fucking daughter's birthday and he wants to take her to a seafood restaurant 35 minutes away. And he's like, hey man, I'm sorry, my lunch break's gonna be a little bit longer. Well, now I don't have backup. Because the other man, he had to leave to go out of town. So, and then my boss has COVID. So then my boss calls and he's like, I guess she's, calling me on the phone and bust in that motherfucker. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to bust in that motherfucker with a baseball bat. I said, I'm going in there now. Well, I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, wait, the guy that cuts my grass for this job, the lawnmower guy, he's like ripped out of his mind. He's like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, bro? So he shows up. Next thing you know, he's like, you ready? I'm like, I'm going in this motherfucker. I pop the master key in there, walk in, and I'm like, what the fuck? There's poop on the floor. And I still don't know if it's human or dog, but there is poop on the floor. There's like a bunch of shit in one room. There's a bunch of shit in the kitchen. And there's a bunch of shit in the like left corner bedroom. And then out of nowhere, this little dog just pops his fucking head up underneath the bed, like comforter. And he's like, hey, like, what's up? And I'm like, hey. And he just staring at me. He's like makes this like really weird noise with his throat. It's like, and I was like, is that dog barking or ground? I can't. And the landscaping guy goes, that's really sad. That dog looks really hungry. Well, out of nowhere, I said, shut the door. He goes, oh shit. Dog goes, takes off running. Well, I am panicking. And I scream out loud. And he's still making fun of me about it. I screamed out loud, why? Why fucking me? Fuck is wrong with this situation? So I run into the fucking house first off, and I find like just a shitty amount of dog food, like 7 Pebbles. This poor fucking dog. So I scoop that. I'm trying to fucking like, I just throw it. Like, so there's dog food. The 7 Pebbles are everywhere because I'm like, that ain't gonna do shit. And then I find this beef stick, a jalapeno with Tabasco beef stick. And
that's going to give the dog a stomach ache.
Exactly. But I could not. The dog's almost down Taylor Boulevard. So next thing you know, I find a raw egg. Well, here's another thing about this situation. I needed to clarify about this egg, and I think it's hilarious. I just learned this last night, and I feel like a fucking dumbass. So I've been calling this a raw egg. It was a hard-boiled egg. So I thought a hard-boiled egg is still just like a raw egg. So AJ, all his buddies over there, Otis, everybody last night was cracking up, making fun of me because I'm over here saying raw egg when it was hard-boiled. So here's the thing.
There's a big difference in that, Eric.
My bad. So I want to clarify that to everyone, especially the people who listen to the show. So I thought that was hilarious, but fuck it, whatever. So the egg I break it up I break up the egg, and then I have the beef stick. Well, dog's like in the backyard for a minute. Then next thing you know, he goes shooting out another way. He's super quick. Well, he keeps running, and we're chasing him. We're trying to get him back. And then I kind of throw some food. He go after it, and I think I'd be able to get him. Not. And then out of nowhere, this guy's like, "Hey, hey, get your dog!" And I was like, "What?" And I didn't realize he's breeding pit bulls. So like, there's like pit bulls all over the front yard. They're going crazy. I'm trying to get this little Shih Tzu, little fucking, don't know what kind of fucking dog. And next thing the dog is like going past me, making routes. I mean, this dog could be in the NFL. And then next thing you know, I started thinking to myself, I'm like, what the fuck to do? And the girl, so this girl that like dates a landscaping guy, she shows up. I guess she was helping him mow. Well, she's like, gotta make clumps. So we're making little pile clumps, and the dog's just eating his way all the way into the house. And then when he gets in the living room, I lock the fucking door. I look down at him through the window of the front door, and I'm like, you little fucking shit. I was like, stay safe. I was like, don't tell your parents what happened. And I turned around and I looked at my landscape guy. I was like, thank you. And then out of nowhere, I'm like sitting there thinking to myself, like, that was the craziest shit I've ever been a part of. I was like, I can now add dog wrangler to my resume. I've been saying up for the Humane Society. I've been part of animals' life. I love animals. But this dog was like, I'm testing this motherfucker. And he made me run all the way through the hood for 45 minutes. And then my boss thought it was so hilarious. Everybody thought it was so funny. And then what really made me mad is I'm done and I'm about to go home. And guess who wants to pull up? The maintenance man who went to go get the fish sandwich. And he's like, hey, what's up? What's going on? I said, what's going on? 45 minutes of chasing fucking Fraser Crane's dog down the street. This fucking dog. So unbelievable. So let me ask you this, since I just told that ridiculous story. Have you ever had a dog escape in your life, and like where you had to go chase or find it? Like did you ban it, or did anybody get loose in your years?
Yes, a lot. In fact, when we
you have any crazy stories?
Not like crazy like that, but in Florida, actually.
That's a weed cough, by the way, everybody. That is not COVID cough. We're just making let everybody know. Okay, go continue.
No, you're fine. I am smoking, so I got my vape going. But we were in Florida, and this recently, when we were in Florida, we had tried summer out on the balcony, because we had Turk out there, and he sits in a chair. He doesn't do anything bad. But I was like, Jim's like, well, let's have Summer out here. So we got Summer out there, and she was trying to push the baby gate, which we forgot our string to tie it with. So we just had it sitting at the stairs. So she's pushing the baby gate, and she keeps knocking it down. It's flying down the stairs. Thank God the people downstairs weren't home at the time. So we're like, all right, we're going to keep trying it. Well, it's finally like, I don't know, 9:00. We're sitting outside. It's a nice night. We're watching lightning in the distance. Well, that little fucking bitch knocks the gate down and runs down the stairs.
Oh, God.
So I'm up in the chair with Turk, and I'm just like, and Jim's running down the stairs. I'm high, so I'm sitting here going like, I got the good dog. And Jim is going, Summer. She took off after something. I don't know what it was. Thankfully, the street we stay on, it's a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
So she's going to run anywhere. She's either going to run on the road or she's going to run into the water, which the dog does not like going in the bay. So,
yeah.
But Jim finally caught her, and we think she went after, there's a street cat that walks around in that area. So we think she went after the street cat, and Jim got her, but we learned our lesson is Summer's not allowed on the balcony in Florida.
Yeah.
And then
she's a rebel.
And as for my other two labs, when I was a kid, they never really got out so much. I've experienced more dogs at my work that get out of their hands of their owners, and we're chasing dogs up and down the street at work.
And you know, that makes you like, the thing about it that people don't realize, like, I'm not going to name their names, but a couple people I mentioned that story to from Friday were like, I would have gave up, like, fuck that dog. No, like, at the end of the day, even though that dog's not mine, and even though I'm probably not going to deal with that dog again, I'm not going to let the dog get hit. It's not that dog's fault. Dog is scared. Like, dog has every right to be scared, especially when someone's chasing him around with egg and beef stick and looks like me, probably sweaty and frantic. But
Well, it's like with any dog that, I've tried to get dogs off the side of the road before. There's been a time back at an old barn I was at in Goodlettsville, there was a super shady trailer that was on the main road. And he always let his dogs just roam. I mean, he was not like maybe but a couple feet from the road.
yeah.
And thankfully it wasn't a super busy road, but I stopped my car, put my flashers on, and I'm chasing puppies back into this guy's yard. It's just, there's a lot of people that don't realize their dog's safety's at risk when they have them loose and they're not trained. Like, my mom has 2 dogs and she does not have a fenced in yard right now. Her new house has 5 acres and she just lets them run in the back of the property, and she is on a main highway. But the thing is, her dogs know when she says come back in, they run back in. It's just a matter of if you want your dog to be kind of loose, just train them or get a shock collar. Shock collars are not cruel. I cannot express that enough. Shock collars are not cruel.
Yeah.
They're very useful if you have a dog that is stubborn, hard-headed, or just plain doesn't want to listen. I mean, Summer has a shock collar, and that's what she uses when she's outside now.
No,
because she will.
Oh, go continue. Yeah,
I'll say she will run off, so she's a hound.
Well, let me ask you this. So, I've dealt with loose dogs, clearly. So have you. I've dealt with a loose cat. Luckily not mine, but I've had to chase one of my friend's cats, and, eventually getting a cat or dog, pretty easy. And even sometimes, like, in a job, like tracking a wild animal, like, when I say tracking, like, trying to, like, when you find it in a vacant home or find it in a house, like, it's pretty easy to find it or see the droppings. Like, I mean, anymore I can kind of know the footprints or droppings just from experience and just science and shit. But the thing about it that's crazy is, like, you deal with, you're a horse expert, you're into horses, and it's like, I have to ask, like, how do you lure in an escaped horse? So, like, have you? I'm praying you haven't had that issue, right?
Not really. There's been a horse loose in the barn area, but it never got out into the road because most barns have gates, so that prevents that. Mm-hmm. But the best way to explain how to catch a horse that is not wanting to be caught: food.
Okay.
Food. I have a horse, City, who refuses to be caught when he sees me coming at him with a halter in a pasture.
Yeah.
So, and I've had a time where I was working at a farm and we had a horse get loose in the barn area. Luckily, the horse, though, we had gates, so it couldn't go down to the road. But the horse did stop and, like, immediately went down to some nice fresh grass. Yeah. So, for the most part, horses can be caught if you corral them in the right way. Like, if you get them in a corner and you have enough people that realize they can't be caught, and you're able to get a rope around them, that's common. But food, most horses will come to you if you have their grain, some cookies. If they hear that bucket with some kind of shaking material in there, whether it be rocks or even, like, I don't know, your own granola or something, they'll come to you because they think it's their food.
See, the reason I asked, I live 20 minutes from Churchill Downs, probably the most famous racetrack in the world. And, horses, luckily there's not really been too many escapes and too many, you don't really hear that. You do see horses escape sometimes on the track. I've seen where, they're trying to get it or trying to get it to calm down or lure it in. And, you know, and then people make it so worse because in the crowd, they're like, oh, you know, it's just
Well,
like
don't forget, a lot of people don't work the horses.
yeah, they just don't get it. And so
they don't understand.
And see, you know, a story that's always crazy to me, and to this day, I believe my mom. And but this story is pretty crazy. So I, as a child, grew up on this road, Stony Brook in Louisville, and we had a huge field behind our house, which had like two barns. At one's torn down at the time, but there's another one. Well, my mom like picked me up from school that day and I guess like tells me and my dad at like dinner or whenever I can't remember when I was told, but she said a horse got escaped on our road and was running past the houses and was in the field, and she's on top of our neighbor's roof with horse people and the neighbor, and they're luring the horse into the barn. And you know, and I'm gonna be honest, like I believe her, and I believe she I definitely believe that it happened, but I'm still like, what the fuck? Like, and I also like found out the house that supposedly the horse escaped from, and I'm like, why is there a horse there? So there was just a lot of mystery in that. And then something that I found out here recently, you know, like I said in the beginning of this episode, Christina's in Hendersonville, Tennessee. However, Christina's visited me in Louisville several times. She loves the Ville. And the thing about Louisville that, you know, I have been finding out here recently, which I want to tell you about, Christine. I learned about a shitload of conspiracy theories from a Reddit forum. So
God.
Jim and Christine are kind of, I'm going to give them 50% credit, and I'm going to give Danielle, my old coworker, 50% credit to introducing me to the Reddit world and kind of how to use Reddit and what the point of Reddit is.
Reddit is just a deep, deep, deep hole that you get lost in for hours and you don't fucking. Let me just tell you how I got into Reddit, because Jim was the one that introduced me into it.
Yeah.
When I had COVID the first time, I was knocked out of my ass for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, you get really bored when you can't smoke weed because you can't use your lungs properly. I have asthma, so when I had COVID, long story short, my breathing was shit. I couldn't smoke. I couldn't do shit. I couldn't do anything. But I started using Reddit. And as someone, I don't know if Eric's told people about this, I love crime. Anything about crime, gang crime, drug crime, hood crime, true crime, mass shooters, serial killers, pedophiles, you name it, I love it.
Crime City.
I got into the crime aspect of Reddit, and it is uncensored, which is what I love. You see pictures of people's heads blown off. You see cartel shit, which that's another thing I love about Reddit, is they have a ton of uncensored cartel stuff. But I was lost in Reddit for the first time, no joke, for almost 3 hours, just scrolling, finding these new subforums, finding more about these mass shooters I never knew about. I mean, there's a forum for everything. There's a Law and Order SVU forum that I follow religiously because I learn about these episodes. I'm like, wait, I have to go rewatch this.
And here's the thing that's crazy about Reddit, and you know, and I don't give a fuck. I keep it real on this show. Shout out to everybody that uses Reddit that is a telephone user on the toilet when they're pooping, because I feel like there's gonna be some people that are stuck on that fucking toilet for 4 hours losing their day because of Reddit, because you're just in the zone. The thing about Reddit is this: you can get so lost, you can get in a whirlwind of topics, you can start reading about something on one post and you got to go to the other. You can literally, the thing about the uncut, anything can basically be posted. The thing that I've been learning, so the only, like, I'll search stuff if I want to search it. Like, if I want to look up somebody, if I want to look up a certain thing, if I'm bored, if I'm high, if I'm whatever.
If you go on Google and Google, like, say, I know I use SVU as an example a lot. It's just something I know about. I can type in Law and Order SVU, and on the side, on the Google searches, it will say Reddit. So there is almost like specific searches that you can just hit Reddit for, and it'll bring you all those subreddits.
Oh yeah, and that's what's insane, and it's there's so much, and then too, the thing about it too is like it's the porn and the sex on there. The reason I bring that up is, you know, there's so much of that as well, and so it's at the end of the day that like people on Reddit really don't give a fuck, and they'll post anything and they'll say anything, and so that's the thing about it where you got to realize like you're gonna see it all, and so the other thing that's wild about Reddit too is, yeah, the thing that I really get into is, you brought up crime. Me. People that listen to the show know I'm interested in tons of shit, but conspiracy theories is a big thing to me. I'm not saying I'm a big conspiracy theorist, but I just fucking love hearing what people say. But then I was reading, so this Louisville conspiracy theorist post ended up getting kind of out of hand where whoever
of course
of course, like it got to the point where it got way too deep. You were looking at almost maybe over 683 posts of different people's conspiracies. So I'm thinking some of these are bullshit. Some of these aren't even really conspiracies. Some of these I know are facts, some are fiction, but then I found some interesting ones. So here's a few that I want to share with Christine and the listeners. So the first one, underneath 3rd Street in Old Louisville, near the University of Louisville campus, there is a full-blown woolly mammoth fossil, like the whole skeleton, like all the skeleton bones put together, and it's too expensive to pull out from underneath the ground. And it's because all the tunnels underneath Louisville, Louisville has tunnels from the river going all the way to the zoo on Trevelyan. So there's storage, there's closet, there's spaces, people have different access, but there is a woolly mammoth underneath 3rd Street. That was one I thought that was wild. Another one here recently was they were saying that on the Science Center, some people were pressing a bunch of elevator buttons on the elevator when they were trying to go to the IMAX, and they ended up fucking with the electric circuit, and it shot the elevator all the way down to the bottom of the Science Center. And when they said the doors opened up, they lost signal on their phone. And also, by the way, this is like 2016. So this is not like 1980. They got shot all the way down, like they sent all the way down. The doors open. They're like, what fucking floor is this? And it said like basement, like B or U. And they're like looking around. It's like pitch black. So they like try to get the lights on their phone and they look. Well, it's filled with like taxidermy animals. So all these
what the fuck
freak the fuck out. And then out of nowhere, they said there was like trash and like shit moving. So they're trying to get the fucking elevator moving. They can't. Their friend, like 2 of their friends took the stairs. And so then out of nowhere, some maintenance dude pops up and was like, hey, did you all fuck with the elevator? And like, he's like, we're going to get you back upstairs. He said, don't do that again. But they said it was like super creepy. So that blew my mind. Let me see. There was a few others that the thing about it is that really, let's see. Because it was a top post. I'll be able to pull it up real quick.
My dog is over here pawing at me. What the fuck? Summer is just sitting here pawing at me like, please pay attention.
What is she wanting? Just to be petted?
Yeah, just to be petted.
Yeah, so let's see here. Because as soon as I say that, I go, oh, so they were saying, they had a bunch of rumors of saying that like traffic jams are like, custom made so people will take the toll bridge and like,
oh my god,
they had a bunch of that, but let me
let me take you mentioned toll, okay?
Yeah.
Let me take a little pause real quick because this is a compliment to the state of Kentucky from me and my mother. My mom, when we went up there to a horse show in April, my mother could not get over how lovely you guys' roads are.
Thank you.
and how lovely the highway scenery is. She just kept bragging, going, "Oh my God, I wish Tennessee had Kentucky's roads. Oh my God, I wish we had tolls like Kentucky to fix our roads." And then she goes on to say, I was telling her about how you guys worship and love Daddy Andy. And she's like, "We just want a Daddy Andy in Nashville."
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I totally get it. And I mean,
But
go ahead.
compliments to you guys is on your beautiful roads for me and my mom. Because
Well, thank you.
Tennessee suck ass.
Well, I really appreciate that, and I want to say thank you. Thank you for that. Also, I just realized this. I want to let everyone know. So this, Christine, this episode, supposedly, this is what I was seeing earlier. I guess it's going to end in 9 minutes. So what I'm going to do is we will end this, and we'll probably do this as a part one, and then we'll get into we'll do a part two.
Okay, yeah, totally.
So, yeah, and we'll do the part two as soon as this one's done. I just got to restart it. So I think it's just giving me meeting delay times, and I didn't realize it would do that. I've been using this for years. But so back to the conspiracy theories too.
Yeah.
I yeah, shout, Louisville definitely, there's some bad roads, but they do try to take care of it enough. But yeah, I just realized that I see this time marker and I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't realize they were going to do that. So officially, I'm going to announce this is part one of the episode with Christine. I'll drop part two a few days later. We'll have way more to talk about, Stu. And like I said, it's already been going great so far. Pretty much, there was some rumors of people like they're saying that there was like a bloody woman walking through Germantown in Louisville that got abducted in like a truck, and then they were saying that like Cahoots, this like old bar that used to have all this crime, was actually owned and created by a bunch of rich, famous bar owners that would keep bad people out of their restaurants and go to this one. So some of these conspiracy theories are like getting crazy. Of course, the Poplick monster. Of course, damn, there's so many, and I'm glad I was able to finally pull up the form. So this is the craziest one. I am not saying this. So again, Vibing with Sleazy does not stand by this or saying this. This is just what Rivet is saying. But one of the owners of Third Turn Brewing in J-Town fucks ostriches. So I am still blown away by that one. I have been reading that one, and I've still been speechless for a long time about that one. So
who comes up with this shit?
That's what I'm saying. That was one that just
who comes up with this shit?
It blew my mind. And so this is part one. We've been talking about life, horses, dogs, some crazy stories. But and then in part two, we're going to talk about, we're going to do a little trivia. We're going to talk about pretty much some weed stuff. We're going to talk about some other, it'll be fun. So I'm kind of glad to be part one, part two. I'm finding out that that's a lot of times what's happening in this this podcast realm. And so the splitting that up has been working out great. Also want to say Paige, my former guest on each season, aka Contrary Cherry, she and I are probably going to throw a Halloween party in October with the promoter. We're working on that. We're going to be talking about that today. So hopefully we'll get that going. I just want to bring it up. So, people are in town in Louisville or want to come out, be about 300 tickets, be a fun Halloween party. So, big professional event, trying to, and, it'll be a lot of fun. So, and I like doing stuff with Paige, so we'll see if that'll work out. But yeah, so pretty much, Christine, I was going to say too, it's like the thing that I learned here recently, you work in vets, you have animals, you work with animals. I just learned recently when I was down there visiting you all and Hannah, my friend, that you can buy vaccines now for your animals at stores.
Yeah, there's a little bit of I have mixed feelings about it. Only because some of the vaccines aren't gonna be as strong and work as well as ones you would get through a vet clinic. I will say we do vaccinate our own horses because we get those through an online pharmacy for equine only.
Okay.
But I mean, I understand why some people do vaccinate their pets if, say, they don't take them anywhere, or if, it's just a financial issue. Me personally, though, I rather take my pets to a vet to get their vaccines done just because I feel more comfortable there doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, I do have a dog who has reactions to vaccines. So
Yeah.
he always, Turk, my wiener dog, he has to have a shot of Benadryl basically before he gets any vaccines done, due to him having, his face will get all full of hives and he looks really goofy and it's sad.
Yeah.
So
He's a sweet boy. He don't deserve that. So yeah, I'm glad that you were able to find out, Benadryl works for him. So that's great. So like I said, you hate seeing the little guy being loopy or out of it.
well, yeah, it was before I worked at a vet clinic. He had a reaction and it scared the absolute fuck out of me. So not gonna let that happen again. Yeah.
You all are great dog owners, and like I said, it's interesting learning kind of how the animal body reacts. We learn and we hear so much about the human body, of course, but shit. That's what I said. Like in the beginning of the episode, I've been sick. Like I clearly know how the human body reacts, but animals, man, some are sensitive, some are not. It's an up and down thing, kind of like us.
Turk ate some dab off a Q-tip one day and got very high.
It's out of his mind.
No, he was so high, I thought he had a neurological issue going on until I texted my friend from work and she was like, no, he's just high as fuck.
he probably enjoyed it too. He's like, yeah, this is cool. I got toys. Cool.
I mean, he sat there with a treat in his mouth for about 30 minutes, just with the treat sitting in there.
That's fucking awesome. That is great. So,
but just if your dog gets high, don't panic. Just let them ride it out. That's all I gotta tell you.
See, that's the things you learn on Vibing with Sleazy. So that's what I love to see. So this is part 1. I'm about to end this episode. We'll start part 2 here in 5 minutes, and then I'll do a kind of a 3-day split on uploading them. I want to thank everybody for listening to part 1. VibingWithSleazy@gmail.com, Vibing with Sleazy, the podcast, Facebook, Instagram. Reach out, show love. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you hate. I'm going to have more guests, going to have more stuff coming. Season 3 is going. I'm feeling back to 100%. So I want to thank everybody for supporting, and I appreciate you. Christeen, you can find her at Christeen Hernandez on Facebook or, Instagram, Washed Up Equestrian. And she always shows love. Ask her anything about weed, horses, dogs, and she's got your back. I'm out on part 1. She's out on part 1. We're coming with you part 2 soon. Peace. All right.